Hi everyone. So what I'm going to do now is check to see which canonical version of the website that Google currently values. In other words, which one it's currently indexed. So the first check we can do for that is to type in our brand name. So SmallBizToolbox. I'll put Australia because there's some overseas ones. SmallBizToolbox Australia. Here it is. So if we look at these URLs here, we can see that what's been indexed on Google is the version of the website that doesn't have www in it. So it's just straight https://smallbiztoolbox.com.au. There's no www. Also, it is the secure version. It's got the S. Sometimes you'll see a version that doesn't have the S in there and it'll be HTTP domain name. So what this means is that currently Google has indexed and values the non-www version. Okay, now if we go to that website, so that's one thing we can note down. If we actually go to the website there and get the domain name, and we click on it, we can see up here that it's got it's got no W's in it, it's got the S. What if we take the S out there, see that, and we enter that? Does it stay at the S, or no, the S comes back? Therefore, there is already a redirect that sends the HTTP version that doesn't have the S, redirects that to the HTTPS. So that's already in place. Now, if that didn't happen, and I took that S out and refreshed the page, and then I looked again, and it still didn't have an S for secure, then I would be telling my web developer to do a site-wide 301 redirect from the HTTP versions of the web pages through to the corresponding HTTPS versions, because we want the secure versions. Okay, equally, are the www's been indexed or not? So I can simply add those W's to there, like that. Because, of course, a website often can have just www, and you can opt to have that version if you want. But let's just see what happens here. We hit enter to refresh the page, and it reloads. Now, has it stayed www.smallbiztoolbox.com, or is it reverted back? If we click in there, we can see that the W's have gone. So what this means is that there is a site-wide 301 redirect already from the versions of the pages that have the W's in, www.smallbiztoolbox.com, whether it be any page, and that will apply to any page in here. That's already been redirected through to the non-W versions. So I'm happy with that. So in my case here, there's nothing further I need to do. My 301 redirect's already in place. However, if you did that, and when you refreshed, and when the page returned, it still had the W's in it, you'll be telling your web developer to please do a site-wide 301 redirect from the www versions of the pages through to the non-www versions, or the other way. So for instance, if I'd have done that initial check before here, if that was already indexed with the W's in it, I might choose just to keep that because Google's already indexed it with the W's, and I would then check to see that this version was redirecting through to the www versions. You see what I'm saying? So it goes the other way. In other words, what we want to do is choose one and stick with it and have everything else redirected to the one we want. So that's the way to go there. Now, as I say, that applies to any page on the website. So when your web developer does a site-wide 301 redirect, it'll redirect all of the pages. In other words, if you go to, where's a page that actually has something in it, okay, that we can see. So that site-wide redirect would apply to this page. It would do everything. If it was redirecting the W's, this page would be 301 redirected to its non-WW version of that same page, and same for every page. So that's the way to do that. Now, just as I mentioned in the course there, in the lesson, the 301 redirect is quite a technical thing. What it essentially means is that if someone does a search for our website on Google and finds it here, and we change that URL to have the W's in it, even though on Google at the moment it doesn't have the W's, when you click it, it'll go through, it'll redirect the user to the actual version that we want live. But more importantly, from an SEO perspective, it'll tell Google to take any value that version of the page that it might have in terms of SEO value and ranking potential, take that value out of that and put it in the new one, the one it's redirecting to. And so what we're doing with that is we're consolidating value from multiple versions of those URLs through to one version. So instead of our SEO value being diluted out over 3 versions of a URL, one with W's in it, one without W's, one with the HTTPS, one without the S, things like that, instead of them all existing and sharing the value 25% each, we're consolidating all those values into one and giving it one page or one version, the whole 100%. And because it's got more SEO value, it's more likely to rank higher. So it's one of those fundamentals. Anyway, that's it. Any questions around that, just post a question into the forum there. I will jump in and answer your question there, and of course modify the course as I go to enhance it and be more clear. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next lesson.